So, with Midjourney version 5 being out for quite a while now, I've been spending a ton of time with the new iteration, and one thing I've really been fascinated with is comparing it to past iterations of Midjourney. And honestly, the differences are truly astounding. What Midjourney 5 offers over its past iterations is primarily range. It allows for much more fine-tuning and opportunities for the prompt engineer, like the person actually typing in the prompt, to take on a more artistic role in itself, because you now have more control over Midjourney and it can better execute your ideas. Now, sure, obviously there's like a lottery aspect to it, as one user has mentioned, where Midjourney has just like a 50% chance of actually properly executing your vision and getting the image that you want. But this is so much better than Midjourney version 4 in a lot of ways. Because if you look at some of the comparisons here, the images that Midjourney version 4 produced weren't actually necessarily worse than the images Midjourney 5 produced, but they had more of a, personalized style. Like, you could dub it the Midjourney style. And this is even applicable in cases where you didn't want that style. It creates like this pseudo-realistic, like portrait art style that largely has just gone away with Midjourney version 5. And now if you want a really realistic photo, you can get a really realistic photo. But if you also want a very stylistic photo, you can still get a really stylistic photo. It's just not now that all the images aren't going to be lumped into a very similar art style. It's more objective in a way. It's less narrow in terms of the art that it can produce. And this is really the key with V5 is range. And another thing is, if you look at these two hamburgers right here, just comparing those alone, you can see stark differences. Because this is truly astounding, where you can see like the sauce is placed in a more realistic area. It's not just splashed on the top of the bun and just colors splashing, but this actually looks more real in terms of like the placement of things. And this is also true with hands. That is truly a massive improvement over version 4, and one that people have been dying to have. It's also another aspect of version 5 which is really good, is truly the nuance, because it can have so much detail in one singular image, as you're seeing in this awesome looking stylistic photo it generated right here, that I just, it's almost astounding. You can't tell anymore at all if it's AI. Because in the past, you could almost look backwards, right? If somebody told you this image was AI, you could look for details and be like, okay, well, yeah, the hands are messed up, the buttons on the jacket are messed up, the lighting's weird, it looks, kind of fake, the reflections, they don't, usually match up. But now, if somebody told you that an image is AI, it would kind of be like, I can't tell. I cannot tell if that's AI or not. You could truly trick someone. And this is especially true with the accelerated growth of Midjourney. Because Midjourney's only been around for like a year and a half, pretty much at this point. So we can look at right here. This is version 1, and this is someone at the New York with the Statue of Liberty. This looks awful, honestly, truly awful. Then you go to version 2. This looks still absolutely awful, but you can see a little bit more of the Statue of Liberty, I suppose, but still awful. Then version 3. That looks very weird, I'll say that. But then here's the thing. Version 3 to version 4 was an unbelievable jump. So bam, with version 4, it's night and day. You can see the Statue of Liberty, you can see people in the background, you can see New York, you can see the person's face so much better, so much more realistic, truly insane. But that pales in comparison to version 5, which completely switches it up with true reflections on the sunglasses, realistic lighting, and even the blur on the Statue of Liberty in the background is pretty insanely realistic. Then we can go on to this next photo here, which I think does a great job of detailing the differences in terms of the styles between version 4 and version 5. Because in the top one, which is version 4, it's soft. The colors are soft, the lighting's soft, it's like pastel. It doesn't look real in the slightest. It looks insanely impressive, don't get me wrong. It looks fantastic in a lot of ways, but it's not, even close to real. And then if you look down to version 5, that looks real. In all honesty, that just looks like a photo to some extent, to a far greater extent than version 4. It's truly remarkable. The resolution also on version 5 is far higher, and it just, wow, it's just really, it's like the person on Reddit who posted this. It's like having new glasses after wearing the old ones for too long. It completely changes everything. And then I also wanted to highlight on the stylistic differences between version 4 and version 5, and how version 5 doesn't really have that Midjourney style that so many of us have become used to. And so then I just typed in the same prompt, somebody in New York smiling, not smiling, but just looking at the camera or whatever. And so this is version 4 right here, these 4 images. Then version 5. And see, I included information about this being realistic. I said I wanted this to be a realistic, like a photograph. And so with version 4, it looked nothing like a photograph. It looked more like a portrait, more hand-drawn, more like, in a way, artistic. But version 5, you can see, it looks night and day. It just looks real. And that's something that I wanted. So it gives you a more artistic role, as I've been mentioning, and more control over Midjourney, which I think is truly the most important aspect. And we can see another 4 images here. Truly stylistic. It's a portrait. Those eyes look, weird. But then if you go to version 5, night and day. I mean, the one in the top right has a little bit weird looking eyes, but it's truly insane. It's like putting on new glasses after wearing the old ones for too long. And it gives so many more opportunities to creators to truly, execute on their visions. So, especially at the rate that Midjourney's been progressing at, I can't believe, I don't know what they're going to do with version 6. I mean, I guess they're probably just going to keep honing in on the fine-tuning that the prompt engineer can, partake in, that can really fine-tune your images into what you want, maybe adding more detail, higher resolution. One thing I'm really excited for is text, once they actually are able to introduce that into a consumer grade image generation AI platform, and they're getting close. So I don't know, this is truly insane. I just wanted to show some images here and do a quick comparison between version 4 and version 5.